I'm Hannah Rankin, and this is my speech over secondhand smoke, and here's my audience. Cigarette smoke is like pee in a swimming pool. It is hard to keep it from spreading. Do you ever find yourself around secondhand smoke? If so, you may be wondering what effects it is having on your body. I am Hannah Rankin, and today we will be covering the effects of second or passive hand smoke. So what really is considered passive smoke? There are two types. The first is called side stream smoke, which is smoke from the smoldering cigarette. And the second is called mainstream smoke, which is the exhaled smoke from the cigarette. Did you know that 80% is invisible, and opening a window or moving away from the smoke in the air does not stop it from going near or into your lungs? The amount of smoke created by a tobacco product depends on the amount of tobacco available for burning. For example, the amount of secondhand smoke emitted by smoking one large cigar is the same as smoking an entire pack of cigarettes. Non-smokers who breathe in passive smoke breathe in nicotine and over 7,000 chemicals, including at least 70 are which are known to cause cancer. Many of these toxic chemicals are arsenic, benzene, vinyl chloride, and lead. These four chemicals alone are regulated in the U.S. or regulated as U.S. hazardous pollutants. Non-smokers who breathe in secondhand smoke take in nicotine and toxic chemicals the same way smokers do. The more secondhand smoke you breathe in, the higher levels of these chemicals in your body. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, has classified secondhand smoke as a Group A carcinogen. A carcinogen is a substance which has caused human cancer. Secondhand smoke has been linked to cancers in the throat, brain, sinuses, bladder, rectum, stomach, and breast in adult, and causes a risk of leukemia, lymphoma, and brain tumors in children. Secondhand smoke can be harmful in many other ways also. It affects the heart, blood vessels, and can be harmful in many other ways also. According to the American Cancer Society, some studies have linked secondhand smoke to mental and emotional changes also. For instance, some studies have shown that exposure to secondhand smoke is linked to symptoms of depression. More research is needed to better understand the link between secondhand smoke and mental health. Exposure to passive smoke is extremely dangerous to the health of children and adult non-smokers. According to the American Cancer Society, secondhand smoke causes up to 3,400 lung cancer deaths annually, 300,000 lung infections such as pneumonia and bronchitis, especially in the young children. This can result in up to 15,000 hospitalizations every year. It can also increase the number and severity of asthma attacks. And last but certainly not least, studies have shown that pregnant women who are exposed to secondhand smoke have low birth weight babies. Some of these problems might seem small, but they add up very quickly. Think of the expenses, doctor visits, medicines, lost school time, and often lost work time for the parent who has to stay home with the sick child. As you can see, we are all affected by secondhand smoke. Asthma, bronchial problems, heart disease, and the future risk of lung cancer are as real in adults as they are in children. But the fact is, children are more vulnerable to this harm caused by passive smoke. Today, 9 million American children under the age of 5 are exposed to secondhand smoke in their own homes. Nearly 800,000 children just in the U.S. are exposed to secondhand smoke at their daycare and their schools. A recent study from the Center for Disease Control found that infants are 3 times more likely to die from sudden infant death syndrome, which is also known as SIDS, if their mothers smoke during and after pregnancy than those infants whose mothers do not. Not only are they at risk for SIDS, but this passive smoke affects children their entire lives. As adults, they face an increased risk of developing lung cancer if they grew up in a home with a smoker. So where all are we exposed to passive smoke? The 4 most common places to have exposure are in where we work, restaurants, homes, and in our cars. In restaurants that allow smoking, the concentration of secondhand smoke in the air has been shown to be 1.5 to 2 times greater than in other settings that allow smoking. Restaurant workers have a 90% increase and lung risk cancer due to their exposure to secondhand smoke than if they worked in a smoke-free restaurant. The next most common place where you're exposed to passive smoke is in our own homes, especially if a spouse, parent, or sibling that smokes in the home. According to the American Cancer Society, apartments where smoking is allowed is concerning as the tobacco smoke can move through air ducts, walls, floor cracks, elevator shafts, and along crawl spaces to contaminate units on other floors. Even those that are away from the smoke are still affected. Secondhand smoke cannot be controlled with ventilation, air control, or by separating smokers from non-smokers. Making your house a smoke-free place is the most important thing to keep your family healthy. As mentioned before, children are the most ones affected by secondhand smoke. This creates problems such as asthma, lung infections, ear infections that are serious and even life-threatening. The strongest factor associated with exposure to secondhand smoke in women was having a smoking spouse. We all spend quite a bit of time in our cars, and if someone smokes there, the toxins can build up very quickly, even when the windows are open or the air conditioner is on. Again, this can be especially harmful to children. Many medical expert groups have been working to encourage people to make their cars smoke-free. Some states and cities even have laws that ban smoking in the car if they're carrying passengers under a certain age or weight. Many facilities such as city buildings, malls, schools, colleges, and hospitals ban smoking on their grounds, including their parking lots. So what is being done to reduce our exposure to secondhand smoke? On the national level, several laws restricting smoking in public places have been passed. Federal laws ban smoking on domestic airline flights, nearly all flights between the United States and foreign destinations, interstate buses, and most trains. Smoking is also banned in most federally owned buildings. The Pro-Children Act of 1994 prohibits smoking in facilities that routinely provide federally funded services to children. Many state and local governments have passed laws prohibiting smoking in public facilities such as schools, hospitals, airports, bus terminals, parks and beaches, as well as private workplaces, including restaurants and bars. Some states have passed regulating smoking in multi-unit housing and cars. More than half of the states have enacted statewide ban on workplace smoking. To summarize, I hope you all have a better understanding of how secondhand smoke affects each of us, the diseases it causes, and where we are all exposed to it. The sad truth is we are all affected by secondhand smoke, even if we have decided not to smoke because smokers are everywhere. Now, for the sources that I use, they are from, the first one is from Informed Health website created on April 25th of 2013. The second one is from Cancer and Facts Figures on the American Cancer Society website created in 2016. And the third one is from Environmental Protection Agency website created on September 28th, 2015. Thank you. Is there any questions? Okay. No? We good? Okay, awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yay.
Hannah.
Did it record?